we've had snow flurries and a little bit of rain, and it's probably white up on top of the mountains. Most of the mountain, I'm sure, is covered white. Like I say, it's 31 degrees here now. It's been getting up to about 45, something like that, the daytime, and staying rainy, and then in the mornings and the evenings, having the snow showers. So I think it's supposed to warm up, let's see, Wednesday, that's Thursday. I thought I seen it looked like it said a high of 60 with 50% chance of rain. But that 60 degrees is going to feel good. We're going to have a little warm up for a few days too. Well, I guess you're taking over by 9 o'clock. I might still be in here. I guess I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee. I'll turn it back over to Mike over there, okay? Okay. Fine business, and yeah, maybe we'll talk after a while there. Don't forget the salt in your coffee. All righty. Go ahead, Mike. Always put that salt in.
Salt in the coffee, I like that. Great conversation. That's what we're all about here. Good, cleanly conversation. Anyone else out there coming on board for the first time, or is there someone out there you might have heard, or you have a subject you want to bring up we can all talk about there? Here's our contact, and we'll give you the frequency.
Salt in my coffee's not a joke. I just want to say hi. I need to be hi.
The station is saying hi. Come on back with the call again there, please.
November 8th, Papa Yankee Alpha.
Hi, good evening. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good. I just want to make a comment that salt in coffee is not really just a joke. You put a little bit of that in when you're brewing your coffee, and it makes it taste better.
I really didn't know that. I usually take chocolate syrup, Hershey's chocolate syrup, and put a little bit in my coffee.
You know, that's what I thought. Even though you agreed, I kind of got this feeling you thought it was really just a comical joke, but really it isn't. It does make it better. Chocolate syrup, oh yeah, that can do something too. Put the salt in the ground before you burn it. There you go. You got it. Salt in the ground before you burn it.
I'm going to try that. Really. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I think you should. It don't take much. Just a little.
Larry, I got to say, you got a great signal coming in from Ohio tonight.
On the top where you see very little, just see a little white, and there you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry I stepped on you.
I said, put your coffee grounds in your pot, and then take your salt shaker and shake it on there until you just see like a little white you can see, and there you go.
I'll tell you what, I'll do that tomorrow morning. I'll do that when I make my coffee tomorrow morning. And I got a note here. I'll give you a holler out here on the Friendly Bunch tomorrow night after 8 o'clock or so, and I'll let you know how it is.
Well, I'll try to be here. Are you going to be the one out here running the show tomorrow night?
No, sir. If you can't make it tomorrow night, I'll be back again as the controller on Friday night.
Well, one of them nights. I guess tomorrow night, if I make it back, I'll try to ask for you, and hope you remember when I say, hey, did you try the salt? Whoever it was.
Yeah, the call is K2MFF. Mike here. I'm in Jersey. If you want to scribble a note, and I am definitely going to do that tomorrow morning.
Okay, Mike. Mike.
Hey, Mike, you know what I'll learn out of that?
I think you're gonna, you're gonna find out, learn something new. Anyways, we'll leave it at that. When you do, we'll be back.
Roger, Roger. Good to hear you out there tonight. Right along. Anybody else coming on board or have a comment or a subject you want to talk about? Just holler contact. Hey, Mike. Yes, sir. Yeah, the deal on the salt. I learned that when I first went in the Air Force, my first assignment, on a detachment at Campbell Army Airfield in Fort Campbell. I was in the Air Force, but I was on the detachment there. And that old NCO station captain come in there. Besides being the one that has to clean the latrines every day, you guy has to keep that 55 cup coffee maker full of coffee 24/7. He come in there and showed me, he grabbed that salt shaker, and he said, "Don't forget to do this every time." Roger? Roger, Roger. I will do that. All right. There was somebody else doubling with you. The other station there, I apologize. Come on back. All right, Mark, just give me the call. I forgot to write it down. I'm a little slow here, but if you come back with the call, and I can give you a signal report there. Hi, Mark. Mike here, A2MFS. I'm on the Jersey Shore, and I got you a solid S9. It sounds like you're just a little bit low on the frequency, but I can make you out with no problem. Good audio. Hi, Mark. Mike here, A2MFS. I'm on the Jersey Shore. I got your solid S9. Like you just a little bit low on the frequency, but I can make you out with no problem. Good audio. I can hear him, Mike. I can hear decent free, but his audio is not working RF or something in his audio. I'm on the Jersey Shore. I got your solid S9. Like you just a little bit low on the frequency, but I can make you out with no problem. Good audio. I can hear him, Mike. I can hear decent free, but his audio is not working RF or something in his audio. I got your solid S9. Like you just a little bit low on the frequency, but I can make you out with no problem. Good audio. I can hear him, Mike. I can hear decent free, but his audio is not working RF or something in his audio. I got your solid S9. Like you just a little bit low on the frequency, but I can make you out with no problem. Good audio. I can hear him, Mike. I can hear decent free, but his audio. Coming on board for the first time tonight. And I won't put any noise. Could you try it again, please? Yeah, it's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Fox India 88. I appreciate that. It would be a little rough. To try it out a time later. I called them up and there's a number. They have a number, which is a statewide. They call and he said, no, this is a, did you get, oh yeah, we were getting ready to respond to the call. He said, call it off. It was an accident. So, yeah, which no, it was, we said we said it by mistake, and yeah, no, he called. One of those is connected to Amazon, right? Yeah, that's connected, yes. Yeah, but it goes through the Wi-Fi and everything, yeah. Because I remember some story early on that some kid, like a young kid, was saying all these things that he wanted for Christmas, and the damn thing was ordering it from Amazon. Really? Yeah. Yeah. Well, they actually said where we were. That was after we realized we said it, and she came on and she says, we're sending you help, and you're in the Citrus Hills area where we started. I said, holy shit, man, we're in trouble. Don't you have to say Alexa first, though? I mean, if you just say 911, it doesn't nothing, right? Yeah, but yes, we didn't say that. We said her name first. Yeah, well, that answers Bruno's question. Well, hopefully she doesn't listen to Alex. If your brother's name is Alex and you're calling him Alexa, I feel sorry for you. Put it up, you have, I don't want to mention the name, but do you have that? You got one here. I was going to say, turn your speaker up and I'll say it for you. Mine's called Jill.
to her name and tell her I want a sandwich. Yeah. Get it with a frying pan. How about you do the cooking? I do some. She does some. And we do a lot of takeout. Do the kids cook too? My youngest daughter is really, really good. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's on the air. That's right. Even radio on the air. Yeah, even lit up. What color are you sporting? I like the green like you. Yeah, I'm on the green. No, I do like the fade once in a while. You know, smoke some taters, shut off the lights. It ain't easy. Easy and for Zobi. And for ROL. Point T,
Whiskey 1 Tango Golf Golf.
You picking up the scraps? I'm picking up all the pieces that were left over. Yeah, we've got to pack them up out of the ground. Here at the bottom. Oh, at the bottom of the bowl. Oh, I'm at the bottom of the net, Tom. I gotta sift through all the crap and everything, the bird shit and everything. Yeah, don't stop the rooster. Well, don't knock too much of that shit out of it, and that will fall apart. Yeah. You gotta keep the integrity of the nest. You ever have bird nest too? Yeah. You know the story behind it? A lot of guys like climbing cliffs and mountains to get that bird nest. That's exactly right. I seen it on like National Geographic. I mean, dude, that must be some really good soup because like people follow their dad. I can tell you some stories. Are they going up in later life? My boss that I used to work in Chinatown up there in Boston. Company, every house surrounded by Chinese. And he eats Chinatown every day, the whole 9 yards. And my boss actually watched them collect those nests. And he said, these birds, the reason the food tastes so good is because they use saliva to adhere the nest together. So the nest is covered in bird spit. But anyway, these birds live in the side of a cliff, way up high. You know what I mean? In these holes in the cliff, and it's interesting the way they collect the nest. There's like one family of climbers that's been there forever. You know what I mean? And what they do is they have one of these guys climb up there and pull a nest out. And while they're doing it, they have a bunch of monkeys watching it. And when he comes down, they give him a opium. And the monkeys go nuts, go grab all the nests. Should I believe that? That's factual information. Yeah. Google it. So what do, Tom? Dump all the mess into a boiling pot of water and make some broth?
There you go.
Oh, God.
And it's expensive as hell, and people buy the crap out of it.
I mean, these people risk their life for it. I mean, you should see these clips and caves that they go to get them.
I'm watching it right now on YouTube, risking death in the name of food.
Yeah. They have I forget what it is. My wife had it. They get them in these little jars, and it's like a skin cream, and it comes from this nut from Morocco, and the nut's got all these spikes and spines coming out of it, and you can't. There's no way you can get near it to break it open. But the goats. I didn't realize this. Goats can climb trees. I did not realize this. The goats go up and they eat these nuts. They eat them and digest them. And then they get them, and it's just the outer coating of the nut, and they split it open, and they get this nut from the inside. And that's where they get this product from. So that's just like some kind of coffee that comes from somewhere. The monkeys eat it, and they poop it out. Then people drink the coffee. That shit, out of Japan, they got a bunch of cats they feed the coffee beans to, then they pull it out of the cat shit. Yeah, some kind of crazy shit like that. You gotta be kidding me, that's wow. And it's a delicacy, yeah. It's like $9 a pound of coffee.
T-Bone. Hey. This guy calls it the caviar of the caves.
Yeah, it's something else.
I'm watching this video. These guys are in the Philippines. They're climbing these damn poles they made up. It's a piece of bamboo that they got rigged up so they can climb it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's freaking crazy.
But what they said, the smart guys have figured it out. They use chimpanzees to do it for them.
Hey, let me ask you a question. That rocket's supposed to be going up tonight?
Tomorrow morning, 8:23 a.m.
8:23 a.m. Eastern time. Yeah, because I just saw a video. I thought they were just launching it. Okay.
It was supposed to be this morning, and they postponed it to tomorrow.
So is it just a nest that they want?
That's right.
So they can time it right so it doesn't interfere. It doesn't affect the bird. They wait till they're done.
Oh, I would imagine the last thing they want to do is knock the bird out of whack. Yeah, that's their bread and butter.
Because they need the bird nest next year.
Smoking and drinking.
And collecting bird nest.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Be like, hey man, what you doing today? I'm gonna go climb up a cliff and get some bird nest. Dude, give me some spit soup. Oh,
This is the weirdest thing they eat, believe me.
and it's a delicacy.
Enjoy it. You know where all these damn Wuhans come from.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to get me a Klondike bar. I'll be back.
If you're pulling coffee beans out of cat shit, you expect problems.
It's like these guys in Africa eating that bush meat.
This couple we have that they're friends of ours. He was a tourist. He used to take tours to all places of the world, and he was telling me that he'd take 5 or 6, people that own tourism places, and he took about 6 of them to Vietnam. And they went to this restaurant in Vietnam, and they had the monkey. You've already all heard about the monkey in the middle of the table. And he said they had little mallets and everything. And they have balls enough, they dress the monkey up. He's got little pants and shit on and everything, and they put him in the middle of the table and they hit him over the head with a freaking mallet and then eat his brains.
Yeah, while he's still alive.
They can still practice in China, but it's way too trouble. Yeah, eventually, if you check out, I think it's on YouTube, you'll see what they do is they take the monkey and they got this round steel, like tail clamp in the middle of the bed, the table. They'll clamp the monkey's head in there, and then they actually cut open the top of his head and eat his brains while he's still alive. Yeah. You know why, Mark?
They said they would, they close the table around his neck and he'd be looking around and they, just like you said, they beat him until he went unconscious and then they started eating his brain.
Yeah, that way you inherited his spirit. You got the spirit of the monkey.
Further, Mark, they got a steel hammer with screws in it. Screw the monkey's head in while he's sitting there blinking, looking around. They cut the top of his head off and eat his brains out while he's still alive.
Oh, man, that's sick. Who the hell could do that, man? That is sick.
They do some weird things.
Yeah, they have this bird. I forget the name of this bird. I saw this on YouTube. They have this small bird. It's almost like a pigeon, the size of a pigeon, but a little smaller. And in France, what they do is they eat that sucker every world. Why? No, they eat them. They put this. It's really weird. They put this little towel. I would say it's about the size of a baby chick, but it looks like a small pigeon. There's a name for this bird, and they put their placemat. They put it over their head like a shroud, and they eat it underneath that shroud. It's the weirdest thing.
And well, not everywhere has grocery stores. You'd think they might nowadays, but, I guess whatever your culture is, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Oh, not the balut.
And fours that okay.
Oh, the balut.
W1TGG.
That's where a duck egg, they wait till there's an embryo inside of it, and then they open it up and eat it.
Oh, they bury it in the ground.
No, not the balloon. No, it's fresh, but it's a big egg.
Yeah, you eat feathers, too.
Feathers, beak, everything.
Man, yeah, but they love it, dude.
Yeah, that's very, very common over in the Philippines. If you just drive down any street and you'll see vendors on the side of the road selling it.
I've been to, along the coast, Subic Bay. I know, I've seen it.
Yeah, that's it, Tom. Belush. That's the one. That's what I was talking about.
Yes, they're eggs.
My wife is into it.
Oh, they love them. I told Paul that back in the day. I mean, not to be rude or nothing, but dude, you could get laid with some balloons.
Oh, I bet you could, yeah.
So your wife eats that stuff, Tom?
For that?
She eats that?
She does. Her whole family does. I remember I saw some. I'm like, you gotta be kidding.
Yeah. Dude, that's common there.
Yeah, the beach practice is a little bit on the way down, but they're good.
Oh, you ain't even heard the words yet, Mark.
Let's hear it.
Well, I was over in Subic Bay, and you go home with these girls, and I'm like, why do they got the dogs in the cage? Why do they feed them like, cornmeal stuff? Because you know why, Mark?
I know where this is going.
Yeah. So this guy was getting married. I was in a helicopter squadron. I worked, in aviation when I was Marine. And this guy was getting married, and, they had this big old food spread out. I'm looking, I'm like, man, that's a bunch of good-looking food. And it looked like pork roast to me. So I get the skin on, I cut a big old fat piece, and I get bread out, and I put it aside. And this guy's looking at me, man. He's all turning white and looking different colors. And, and I, put it together, and I bit into it, and I was like, wow. And he goes, man, you know what you're eating? I'm like, no. He goes, man, that's dog. I'm like, man, that's the best dog I ever had.
It was good, huh?
Yeah. They eat them over there.
Where was that, Thailand?
Oh, in the Philippines.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've been around a little bit of the Philippines there. The only place you see these dogs in the really, really poor areas where they got popping out.
Well, that was back when Subic Bay was open, a little town right there is Longapo, and I've seen it.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, I know it happens over there, but I don't think it's real common anymore. Well, it's really, find a guy that's cooking in camp.
Oh, but I've been to Europe too, and like in Europe, they eat horse.
Yeah, that's my friend that was a travel agent. He was telling me he's had horse, and he's eaten everything. This guy would eat anything. He was telling me the horse meat's pretty good.
I'm telling you, Mark, they eat it over there.
I had Icelandic horse. It was delicious.
Now, when I went to, in Norway, they don't have beef, but they have reindeer. So they, raise reindeer like cattle. And it's just deer. It's very lean.
Well, those of you that are old enough to remember, in the early 60s, there was a severe beef shortage, and there was actually stores that opened up selling horse meat.
Yeah. I remember that.
You know what it said on the package? Winnie? No. Elmer's.
And you know what's ironic about, it's just like the pig. The pig has been proven to have a higher IQ than a dog. But yeah, we farm raise them, slaughter them, and eat them. And bacon is good.
Matter of fact, I was watching a YouTube video last night of them slaughtering pigs. And, they got them going down this road. Everything from when they unloaded them off the truck, they wash them down. Actually, they almost when they go in through these narrow walkways, there's high-pressure water. And it washes them down, and then they get in, they slit their throats, and there's this moving chain, they hang them up on the chain, they go down one after another, and everything's automatic. There isn't a person touching them until it gets way at the end, then they slice up a certain portion, but everything's done automatically.
Yeah, it's humane that way.
Yeah, if a machine kills them, it's okay.
Yeah. This machine would go right down the belly of the pig, and never cut any of the guts. Then the guts would hang out, and then it would go down further, and they had this machine that would reach right in where it was cut at the top and scoop all the cuts out, and it would fall right into a big bin.
Yeah, and then they take that and boil it up and make fat, make perfume, all kinds of stuff out of it.
They load these bins on another conveyor and it goes down and people separate because the pig's feet, they have pig's feet, tongues, they use almost everything.
Oh yeah, I like the pig feet.
You okay there, buddy? You hear that guy in the back? I think he's giving birth.
I just barely hear it.
You know, it's funny, man. That's the funniest thing I heard all day.
That reminds me of that onion I passed.
It could be Sasquatch.
Yeah, it could be that he's got a butt dart in him.
Maybe letting on his box on I think he's got a blockage or something.
Maybe he's depressed. It's time for another Klondike bar. All right, man. Everybody seems to be coming to our frequency here, so it's 1 minute till. KE4SBW in the ghetto.
We're here early in 4 Zulu Oscar Papa.
November 4, Romeo Oscar Mike. W1TGG.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be like 30 degrees tonight.
What, down there in Florida?
Yeah, down here in the ghetto, yeah.
Oh, well.
That's what the news guy said on TV. They said it this morning and they said it at lunchtime. And all acting news. My mind went blank. DV at HDMI, which works on the 7300, but not the 7610, but not the 7300.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Hey, for what it's worth, scrap copper is over $3 a pound now. So for all you guys that are modifying and improving, don't throw that old copper away. Put it to the side and see the scrap man. N1TWN. I gotta get the ice on the back. 73.
You know, we have a lot of steel in our plant, and and scrap prices have gone way up. So we're thinking about selling the place, right? So Rick said to me today, you know, we should start doing an inventory of all of our mold parts and mold pieces. And I said, well, there's an awful lot of stuff we don't use. Inventory is a lot easier when you have less Timmy said that because tomorrow I'm going to the scrapyard, and when they put my propane furnace in, they ran steel line, and so all this copper line that I had that was going all over my basement for other things, that's all disabled. So I'm ripping that out tomorrow, and I got all my wire for the season, so I got to go into the scrapyard tomorrow.
You know, no matter what Ray says, Mike, don't scrap the 7610.
Yeah, don't do that. It's funny because these scrap guys, well, you know, they all pay cash, and they will buy old extension cords. You know, even if the insulation is still on it, they'll give you a little less. But the clear copper and the copper pipe, and make sure you separate all your brass from the copper. They'll pay for the brass, but you get more money if it's separated and it's cleaned up. And I got like 7 totes out there that are all ready to go, and a bunch of wire and this, that, and the other thing. But yeah, cash money is cash is king. Anyone QWN, you guys enjoy the radio. Talk to you tomorrow.
You should see what they give you for carbide cutters, spent carbide cutters, $100 a pound, $150 a pound.
Oh, no kidding.
What drove the price of scrap up? Pardon me?
What drove the price of scrap up?
I don't really know. I got caught by it. My son was buying some steel pallets from a block producer, and they're 24 inches by 18 inches steel plates, and I've never scrapped them before. And usually we'd get $2 or $3 a piece for them. But he was saying that this company, Zapala, had like 3,000 or 4,000 of these pallets for sale, and he was going to buy them, and he offered them $5 or $7 a piece for them to pick up and deliver to another block plant. And he goes, "What are you kidding me?" He goes, "I'm getting $7.80 a piece in scrap, and that comes out to be like $400 for scrap, $450 of scrap per ton." So apparently, scrap's gone way up. Well, I remember, Andy. Last time I had scrapped, it was early. It was like first quarter last year, and I was all proud about. I got $200 for scrap copper that I had. It was all wire, you know, so it was not the price of the insulation over it. He said, "It's a shame you did that because the copper's the lowest it's been in a long time." Yeah, it has been. Scrap has been super low the last, I don't know, 6 months or over a year. It's been really, really low. Comment? Could we stop you?
Yeah, I wanted to get back to Mark. Mark, if you, I have a thing here on YouTube that says get a full screen pan adapter off your 7300 with just the USB cable and free software. If you look on YouTube, Mike Oscar Fox Libra Fox.
Yeah, I believe I saw that one, and there's one with the N1 call that you can do it too. And I just looked in the manual. Yeah, you're right. It's not as easy as just one patch cord to you have to go through. They have a device that you connect to it, and then you have to use software. So yeah, it's not a plug and play thing. Unfortunately, I have to actually know what I'm doing.
Buy a 7600.
Or get the DX10, and that's got a connector right on the back.
My GoFundMe page is available at any given time. If anybody wants to donate for that, that would be awesome.
So the guy that I talked to not this past weekend, but the weekend before, that had the 10, he sent me an email and a video, well, an audio file of his audio, and he's been telling me, he's been keeping me updated because I asked him to keep me updated about the 10, and he said that he's got the problem with the thing cutting out. That's been fixed, and it was a RF problem. It was an RF problem. It was his system, but he got that all fixed, and his audio he's running his SM58 mic, and he said that's working really, really good. And he said a guy with an Anon recorded him, and I've got the Anons recorded. signal, and I can hear his audio. It sounds great. So he is super, super pumped with that the FT10.
Oh, that's good to hear.
And he's got a 6400 flex, a 7610, and another radio. 7300.
So he definitely wasn't living in the old days.
No, and he loves the 10. He still says the 7300 or the 7610 is the easiest radio he has to operate. And he said the 7610 and the 10 on a daily, day-to-day operation is equal, and with the receivers are equal. And it goes back to the point that I always make. The top 10 radios on that list, the Sherwood's list, you're not going to really hear what we do here. You're probably not going to hear the difference in the receivers.
No, you'd have to be like right up in a whole crowd of CW and narrow it way down.
Yeah, but coming from a number 23 to a number 10 would be a good jump.
Yeah. And I'm in the 7851 group, and those guys are all CW guys, and they still say there's only one radio to operate, and the second radio, some group, forget how they rate them, but in CW the 7700 is the second, the 7800 is the third, and the rest of the radios all just fall along the wayside someplace. So those guys are all still really still real high on the ICOM, 7800s and 7851s and all that. But for what we do, any of them will do a really great job.
I like having choices. I always pick those more difficult choices.
Well, choices are going to get thinner and thinner.
Bite your tongue, young man.
It's stating an obvious truth. And that's going to start getting thinner, too.
If you're watching TV, you're right about that.
Somebody from my RC group passed out a mass email, and it had something about how two phones that were not connected to their network were connected to a Wi-Fi. They were just brand new phones, powered on. They clocked a whole bunch of data on one guy's out lugging them around DC or something. But anywho, somebody commented on that email, and then there was like a big mass email that don't use the mass email for anything other than close purposes, blah, blah, blah. And somebody cried about getting an email and seeing somebody using the word communism, and he probably crapped himself and wrote an email and said he wanted to be discontinued from the email.
I get those all the time. I'm in the middle of an email battle right now. I'm not doing anything, but there's people battling about a bunch of this stuff. I don't even know. I guess my email is easy to get. So is my phone number because, well, I give it out all the time. But you get this crap all the time. But you just gotta filter it and dump it. Block it. We all have that ability.
Yeah, exactly. When did people become so soft that you can't read an email to determine whether it's read worthy or not,
They're all a bunch of delicate snowflakes. K1LH said, hey, here's Steve.
I agree. KC3, ONO.
And 301. Kilo Bravo 2 Zulu Victor Papa 911 W2MUR.
81MW.
Hey, Bruce.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, I just thought of something. I actually have two of those. I've got the military version one, and I've got the one that was slandered and violated by the salt content on the road a couple of years ago on 80 meters. It still works on 160, and it works a little bit on 80. But I don't know if it. We really never totally determined whether or not that was bad or not, because this antenna is not that much better as far as reports are concerned. So maybe I'll send you both of them. Yeah, don't send the one that's been opened up. That's just don't. We're going to do this. We want this empirical measurement. We want to give Bruce the best you can give Bruce Don't give them the one that you know has got problems, and you think it may be compromised. Like, no, don't do that. No, I just said maybe I'll give him both of them. He hasn't got time to screw around with an old broken piece of crap. Just, scrap is up, Mike. Okay, scrap is up. Both. B-O-T-H, both.
I don't have a lot of time to play with one of them, but still have to get this one wrung out first, and it's not a real high priority here.
Yep, I understand, but I'm not doing anything with mine, so I'll shoot that the one that's out in the yard to you, and we'll see what you could. We'll see if you could make a prototype for us, something that'll work.
I have a radial field out in the field that it's not being occupied right now by anything. I could stick it out there and run the hard line out to it. Well, what's the control cable? How many pair?
It's see, 1, 2, 3, it's 5 pair.
Oh, okay.
What? What do you say in 5 pair? I have some extra wire. Okay, so there's really plus, minus, and negative, and it's a switch. And so all you need is 3 conductors, but I've got 5 conductor wire that I can add and I can get, and I got a big coil of it. I can send it to you. For crying out loud, you need 3 wires, Bruce. 1 neutral and 2 hot.
That's not a problem. Don't send wire. What happens if you run it up against the stop? If you're not looking at it.
Don't want to do that. Just you want to make sure you never run it down on the bottom, because that's where it gets stuck. But if you do trip, it'll trip out on you. I'll send you the manual, and I'm going to actually my Veritron control box has a trip set. So if it exceeds a certain amount of current, it will trip out on you, and it'll prevent the lockup. So, and it's worked pretty well for me. Otherwise, Randy just uses a toggle switch, and he just up is up and down is down, and that's it. If he does it too much and it locks up, he has to take it apart and free it up.
Will a magnet go up and down on the polycarbonate?
Yes.
Well, I can put a limit switch on it then.
Yes, you can. I'm just going to set Bruce my antenna. Mike, you're driving me nuts. Obviously, 2 of those conductors I don't use. I'm going to come to your house and hit you in the eye with a magnet. I'm not going to send my microphone over to him tomorrow.
I said, take the microphone if you're going to go next to that.
So, Maureen's trying to get out of sending the microphone, I think.
I'm going to send Susie with it.
So, Susie's coming to your house with a microphone.
Wants to drive there.
So, anyway, yeah, Bruce, it just needs 3 wires, and you can stick one of these rare earth magnets to the outside of the polycarbonate, and it'll track it with no sweat.
Okay, I could run that up against the little micro switch in series with the power, the down button. I would, because I won't be at the top end of the coil.
That's right. You'll never be up there unless you go up to 10 meters or something. Hi, Nick. Hang on. And you can stack 2 or 3 of these magnets, against each other. So you've got a bigger surface. Put a little micro switch right there in line with the down wire, and you'd be golden.
Yeah, that would work.
Okay, Nick, we're splitting atoms here. What's up?
I kind of thought you were. I'm going to listen to nothing. Just stopping in, saying hello.
What amp are you on tonight?
The same one.
The Mercury?
Yep, that's the deal. I got 2 of them. That's all I have.
Okay.
I'm on the Sun. Not on the Kenwood tonight.
What radio are you on?
The Sun SDR.
The Sun?
Yes, the Sun SDR.
S-U-N.
Made by Expert Electronics.
Where's that made?
This is made in, I believe it's Russia.
You're a communist. You got a Russian amp, Russian radio.
Hey, whatever works.
Does your wife know you're hanging out with the Russians?
She knows. I told her I like the Russian.
I mean, your wife is kind of good looking, so I mean, you better be careful.
She knows what she's got, you know?
Oh, in that case, you really better be careful. Good signal here tonight, Nick. 20 over.
Oh, thank you, sir. So Randy, your wife still hasn't gotten smart yet?
We're gonna keep her dumbed down. She loves ham radio. No, hold on a second. She's coming over.
Nick, I came in smart.
Okay, well, as long as it's not an armed distance.
It is. It's an arm wrapped right around me. Yeah, but you didn't get the extended warranty, though. Yeah, that's for sure. She's got beaten up goods here. Hey, but you know what? She's still smiling, so I'm okay with that. Yeah, you're lucky. There's not a good market out there for good used husbands. Say something, Steve. Maureen says you sound a little different. Well, I'm on the Mark 2G and just using the standard hand mic on the radio. This is the one that you guys said sounded better than the 706 by itself. Yeah, she said you sound a lot better. She recognized it right off the bat.
Wait, Steve from Albany?
No.
Sorry, yeah, I was going to say he sounds a lot different.
That's Steve from the People's Republic of Vermont.
Hey, I like Vermont. Stowe and Smuggler's Notch.
He's one of the original Toads, so you call him Steve, sir.
Sir Steve, nice to meet you. Kevin, KC3, ONO, I'm here in PA.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I'm at the home QTH, and yeah, we're up here about 1,700 feet, running a 520-foot loop, and fed with ladder line. And I got CA1 LOO trying to pound it on the door here. I'll be back in a sec. KA1 LHZ.
Hey, what's new, Dan? You threw your call sign in there.
What?
Dan was in there a couple minutes ago.
Oh, we missed Dan. Go ahead, Dan, if you're still, if you decided to stick around. Yeah, I think he's gone.
He'll be back. Right, you still awake?
Forward that picture I sent to Randy to Rich. It seems like I don't have Rich's contact information. I did get it. Looks really good. He prefers you not to have it, Mike. Okay. No, it really looks good. If you want to write it down, you ready? Yes. Just for future reference, 908-303-1996. You gave him that number? Yeah, that's the, oh boy, Michael, don't call it. That's the dating hotline. I thought it was the Toad Harbor complaint line. No, that's my real cell phone number. No, remember I had the Toad Harbor complaint line. I let that go. That had 1930 on the end. Remember? I could get it. I could get another one. I do remember that.
Mike, I got something for you if you're interested.
It depends on what it is.
It's two-way radios. It's called a Tri-Square. They have 10 billion channels and frequency hopping two-way radio. Look it up.
It's Tri-Square.
Tri-Square XRS. Two-way radios. Two-way radios has them on their website.
Yeah, it's interesting. We, our three kids, me included, started looking at line of sight issues, and I'm actually about 650 foot above sea level, and they're about 150 foot. But it's going to be interesting to see, if they're going to work. And I'm learning a lot about the GMRS service. I think it's 462 to 467 megahertz.
Yeah, I only took a brief look at these, and apparently they're really good. So if those other ones don't work out, maybe you want to buy these. Yep.
Yeah, and also I looked at my 7100 specs, and I could receive those frequencies on the 7100, but not transmit.
Are you going to have any antennas in?
Say again?
I thought you were sending your antenna. How are you going to have an antenna?
Oh, I have a combination antenna. It's a 2 meter, 70 centimeter antenna that is common. I was using in my car when I was running my ham operations in the car. But I had the antenna, and I could hook it up and maybe even modify it to my handheld.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
How are you using the handheld? What was your application?
It was just simply for emergency communication for my kids.
Okay.
I talked to them about getting a technician license, and I knew what the responses were going to be. But I figured, this is going to be a good hook for them to maybe get into the hobby later. You ordered those today? Last night. Last night. Okay, so you'll get them this week sometime. I'll get them Friday. Oh, you have to report. Let us know how that works. The guy that used to own Northern Concrete, he wanted to move into South Carolina. Now, this guy was a gun crazy man, right? It took Ryder trucks, plural, to run all his trucks down to South Carolina. He had a shooting range in his home. He had a pool, a big Olympic-sized swimming pool inside the house. Venetia. So then he also had, when he got down into the basement of his home, he had, I forget how many yards it was, but it was a shooting range in his basement. So this guy is like super gun nuts, right? And he told me that when he got down there, they have nets every Thursday night, and every Thursday night they have so an unknown person calls in with a distress signal, and then they clock how long it takes everybody to get to his house, and they have these nets with these GMRS radios. So that's why we got that letter from the FCC about using amateur radio for illegal activities.
How you like that in 7100, Mike?
What's that?
How do you like the 7100 with the triangle shape for faceplate?
I do like the 7100. It's quite a little radio for all that it does. It's inches high. It's just such a tiny little thing. For all that it does, I mean, obviously it does 100 watts on HF. It does, I remember now, 65 watts on 2 meters and 25 watts on 70 centimeters. And it's got all the weather frequencies, and like I just said, the GMRS frequencies as well. It does a lot, and it's not the best quality. I actually, the microphone that it came with is terrible. So I used a 7300 mic. I rewired it, used it on a 7100, and it sounds a lot better, tremendously better.
Very good, very good. I know a couple of people that use them in their mobile.
K1KRO. Hey, Frederick.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to comment on this whole thing about that FCC thing, about not using the airwaves for illegal uses. Yeah, I totally agree with that. However, illegal by whose definition, So if you're a communist, you would say that, the freedom of speech is illegal. You would say the right to bear arms would be illegal. You would say supporting our Constitution would be illegal. So it depends, I think, on what you're doing. If you're upholding the Constitution and serving the public in a way that's in full accordance to the Constitution, I wouldn't say that would be illegal. Fred, reel it in, big guy. We're talking about FCC rules for amateur radio. Right. Yeah, I know. Fred, reel it in, buddy.
So, who got this letter? When did you guys get it?
Oh, no, you opened up a can now. Where did you come from?
I was watching TV, so I came back upstairs.
And who's doing that Morse code?
I don't know, same bozo comes in, does it all the time.
The AARL has released an early urgent message on Sunday morning and told us not to use our amateur radios for illegal purposes because we already stated something we already knew. It's not the law-abiding people that are going to be doing bad stuff.
Yeah, but this could be the prelude to you can't talk about anything over the air. No politics, no nothing.
This could be the prelude to the frequency if they feel the necessary need.
How did you get this letter? Was it an email or was it official snail mail?
I sent an email to Randy there and KBYR. So it's on the ARRL. The FCC is for the ARRL who released the email. Look on YouTube. There's a couple people that are talking about it.
Yeah, but I didn't get any email.
I'm pretty sure only the people that they've got their eye on got the email. I got the email. WA1YYQ. Yeah, back. Go ahead, Dan. Read it out.
Yeah, you really want me to read it? All over the place. KA1LHZ.
Well, you're on 100 watts. So you can go ahead.
All right. You really want me to read it over the air?
Yeah, just read it.
All right. Calm down. It came Sunday at 1:54 p.m. and it was from the ARL, and it says ARL on the purpose of amateur radio. For over 100 years, amateur radio and the ARRL, the National Association for Amateur Radio, have stood for the development of the science and the art of communication, public service, and the enhancement of international goodwill. Amateur radio's long history and service to the public has solidified the well-earned reputation that amateur radio saves lives, in quotation marks. Next paragraph. Amateur radio operators, due to their history of public service, their training, and the requirement that they be licensed by the FCC, have earned their status as a component of critical communication infrastructure and as a reliable resource when all else fails, in quote. Last paragraph. Amateur radio is about development of communications and responsible public service. Its misuse is inconsistent with its history of service and its statutory charter. ARRL does not support its misuse for purposes inconsistent with these values and purposes.
Beautiful. Okay, that's a perfect letter, and I totally agree with that 100%.
I can shed some light.
What did you say, Bruce?
I said, I think I can shed some light for perhaps the source of that letter or for the purpose of that letter being sent. I heard a news report this morning that those bozo idiots who attacked the Capitol, some of them were wearing helmets and masks and, fighting gear and whatnot. They had concealed earpieces with microphones, and they were operating as amateur radio equipment and using call signs, not their names. Now, first of all, I think that's if they were in fact doing that, they probably weren't hams in the first place, because if they were trying to conceal their identity, they sure as hell wouldn't use their call signs. But, and that may even be fake news to drive, the control powers that be to try to focus on cracking down on ham radio operators. I don't know. But I heard that report this morning from a reliable, over the air, over the commercial broadcast news report. KD1 Mountain Whiskey.
And that's exactly in line with the Antifa MO. They've been caught with, communications equipment and coordinating outside the realm of cell phones for the very reason that they know they could be monitored a lot more easily on a cell phone than perhaps over the air on a local handheld or something like that. But right, none of them are hams. They're just utilizing store-bought, readily available, Bofang style, cheap radios. And of course, right, the question is, just because they use, let's call it a quote ham radio, do the hams get blamed?
Well, it was on the news today that they were all using a ham call, N1 Delta Victor Lima, and they were all using numbers after that.
Yeah, that would be a shame to be that poor ham that they decided to use their call, right?
I'm surprised they don't use like the DMRS frequencies because they've got 2,600 different channels and 121 different private codes.
That's right. That would be a good choice for them. Well, Rich, yeah, you nailed it right there, buddy. There was like a busload or two of Antifa goons.
And the thing is, people that were trying to cause trouble. The thing is, none of us have to worry because we're here identifying. They're not going to bother us. Those bozos, like Bruce nicely put, we're not going to get shut down because of them.
Pay a lot of attention to 1933 Germany.
Yeah, the Reichstag event where they burnt they burnt down the parliament, and then they used that as an excuse to impose tyranny on everybody. Yep, similar thing. That this was an attempt for a false flag, but it didn't work out as well as they wanted.
Yeah, people that don't know their history are doomed to repeat it.
Speaking of history, didn't somebody mention, I think last night before, that during World War I or World War II, the amateur radio operators were asked to black out for a period of time. I got to look at my history on that.
That was World War II and World War I. Well, really wasn't that much of an activity in World War I. It was more during World War II. They even went around and they disabled, if you were like a German American or something, they even went around because I've seen stories of government people coming up to people's houses from that were German immigrants and disabling the shortwave capability on the radios that they had in their house.
I imagine the Japanese got that too. The internment time.
Alf, what were you saying?
And I said, scanners and two-way radios have been used for many, many years for criminal acts. This is nothing new.
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
No, Dan, it's tight today. God. Oh, hello, there's my neighbor.
Yeah, if you guys don't know it, Rob lives probably about a mile or two away from me on the other side of Greenwich here in Connecticut.
Who's got a better antenna?
I don't know. I'm only running 180 watts.
Well, you're 10 dB lower than Dan, and Dan's only running 100 watts.
Wait. Dan, we met Rob. I mean, Rob's been around, right? But like last week when he showed up, I forgot he was in Greenwich. I said, "Hey, do you know this guy Dan?" He's like, and he used your call. He goes, "Yeah, how do you guys know Dan?" I'm like, "He's here all the time."
Yeah, Rob, this is my nightlife. I'm on a higher hill than me. I'm in an RF hole here.
Dan, run over to Al's house real quick and give him a hand.
No, he's got the right guys that are helping him. If you see his stuff on QRZ, he's got it all set. I don't know, Al, how long is your antenna for 160?
Well, the actual antenna is 135 foot dipole, 71 inch point at the other end. The transformer wants to do 160. You look at QRZ.
Wait. You're running an off-center fed antenna?
Go on my QRZ page and you'll see what's on the bottom of my two lights before it comes in the house.
It sounds short.
Yeah. You're easily 10 dB lower than Dan, who's a mile from you. So
remember, or Alpha as we know him, is he anywhere near as strong as Dan?
10 dB difference. Yeah, at least that for me. Yeah, you gotta have a full size. Look at my configuration. The Dan is sitting higher up on the hill than I am.
Yeah, the antennas, the signals are going straight up. So, and you know that. So, who cares who's higher on the hill? He's 10 dB easily stronger than you. You think a few hundred feet on 160 is going to make that difference?
I didn't mean to start a word.
Well,
Look at my configuration on yours, Ed.
I'm looking at your signal strength on my meter.
Yeah. Well, Alpha, I think the point of height is going to be less of an impact here than on other VHF, UHF, and even low higher bands, I guess. But
yeah, we're not on 2 meter here.
no, height makes a huge difference. You want to be at sea level.
Right, Ray. Say that again, Ray.
I said height makes a big difference. You want to be at sea level.
Yeah, well, when it comes to vertical antennas, that's true. I've done testing with Ray from my mobile, and I used to go from sea level to 1,200 feet within 2 miles, and I was always stronger at sea level.
Why is that? Because of the high water content at sea level in the ground?
It was exactly right. I was more open, but the heights here, I think it's funny that people think about being on high ground as being a big advantage on 160. It just doesn't matter. As long as you're in the open, that's what matters.
It works for me. K1LH is it.
I remember doing some IQ experiments on the vehicle, and I would go up to Star Hill, which is about almost 1,600 feet above sea level, and actually my signal got worse as I got higher on 160, and then I came back down 1,000 feet to where I live here, and the signal was markedly improved. And we did that experiment about two seasons ago in the summertime. Yeah, people that think they're 300 feet higher than the neighbors and then they're going to be better is just full of soap suds when it comes to this band.
Well, you need a magnetic field and you need a dielectric field in order to create a wave of electromagnetic energy leaving your antenna. And when your antenna is short, that would be a short dipole for the frequency you're running. Most of your current is trapped in the feed line, so your magnetic field is much weaker than the dielectric field. You don't have the balance. You don't have the projection of the EM wave into the ether. Well, don't forget, that's not exactly true, because that's unless you have Randy's tuner, that all the power is trapped inside the tuner.
But you have no snow at your house.
That's true. Yeah, your roof must be barren.
The ground is. You got bare ground over there? All around my ground rods.
Got an RF melting device. It shouldn't be that way. You're on your external balance.
Kevin, stop being so literal.
I'm just being, okay.
Literal.
Kevin, get a step ladder and sit on top of it so it doesn't go over your head.
A few boxes of it.
It's pretty lively in here for a Monday night. I know, everybody's all got their panties in a bun.
Well, Sunday was so slow. We've been saving up.
Everybody's a little punchy tonight.
Hey,
a little punchy tonight.
Knock it off, Mike.
What the?
Knock it off.
I'm going to go get a cup of tea and calm down.
Hey, punchy for Dave.
By the way, Bruce, I bought that Celestial tea today. It's fabulous. Oh, they make a billion varieties. Which one did you get? I bought the variety pack, but I tried the lemon. I didn't think I'd like it, but I liked it.
So try a tea called Constant Comment. You'll love that also.
You're great. Yeah, that's spicy.
Earl Grey is my tea. Earl Grey hot tea.
There's a thing called cherry, wild cherry or something. That's the one I like. Well, the beauty of it is it didn't screw me up at all. You know, it obviously it doesn't have caffeine in it, but it was very good.
It's Monday?
Martin Luther King Day.
It is.
Every day Saturday for me when you're retired.
Retarded? What? Yeah, who's that? Is that Nick? Sorry, Al. Go ahead.
Never mind.
Everybody's finding it hard to sleep in the middle of a Civil War.
So did anybody ever get to the bottom of Al's antenna? It sounded like, it sounded like an offset 80-meter antenna.
It's off center. That's not. So, Al, please describe your antenna one more time.
It's a balanced dipole. Look at QRZ where my feed line comes down into the antenna box that puts me on 160. It's designed by W1TGG.
Okay, so just describe the length of your antenna.
The actual antenna is a 135-foot dipole with 50 feet of ladder line coming down into an antenna box, which has a 3-inch coil, so a PVC coil wrapped with 50 reps of 12-gauge wire around it. On the outside is 10-gauge wire and two little coils with 12 gauge with maybe around 10 reps on it. That goes with 450 ohm ladder line into the house into a balanced spinner.
Well, it sounds really super sophisticated and pretty sexy too. Now, just imagine how good your signal would be if you had the same antenna that Dan has.
Dan has bigger property than me.
Okay, so that's the reason the antenna's short, because you don't have enough room, right?
It's electrically long. Exactly. I only have enough room to get 135 foot in. That's it.
Yeah, but you could fold it down, right? You could like make some on the ends. You might be able to move the wire down and sideways, make a Z, right?
No, I can't do that. It's right at the edge of the property. I got nowhere else to go.
You can't fold it, Alf. Like I used to have a city lot where I had a center bed dipole, and the back, on the right side went to the back corner and folded to the front, and the left side went to the front corner and folded to the back, like a big Z. You can't do that?
No. The side that it's on the house, there's a 20-foot metal pole that's on the pulley, but it's a sloper, and that goes up to the one tree that I got to be able to put it in, and that's it.
Well, you simply have to move.
Yeah, I got the winning lotto ticket in my pocket.
God bless.
Dan, say something.
Hello, Mary had a little lamb.
Yeah, their signals are the same to me.
Well, because you're only 100 miles from them.
Yeah, I'm less than 100. I'm probably 80.
Dan is 30, and Alf is just a little bit shy of 20.
Yeah, Dan had about 5 dB on him that last time, to me, over here in Rhode Island. And PA Dan's got him by 10.
And that's what you'll find. The further out you go, the more Dan will have them. But don't forget, Alf is running 2 times the power.
Oh, he's running 200 watts?
Right.
Okay.
KB2 ZVP at the 47.
WZVP? LNO. M1 DVI. I'm going to sign out of here now. And it's been a pleasure having a few minutes with you, and I'll be back tomorrow night. Everybody have a good evening. This is WA1YYQ.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah.
What size would your son wear a t-shirt?
Medium.
Yeah. So I've got all massive t-shirts here. Everybody. Would you have any mediums? We're gonna look. I gotta get your son a t-shirt.
You know, what's it say on it?
It says Toad Harbor. It says the Toad Harbor net. What do you think it says?
Well, I don't know. Probably say like, don't listen to your father or something. I don't know what you got.
Oh my God! What? This guy's a jerk. You're off the net, Dan.
I appreciate that.
Oh my God! Come on.
Hey, Randy, can you take, the stars that everybody gets? Well, he's only got
now. Can we get rid of that now?
Everybody tomorrow night. I hope everybody has a great day tomorrow, and watch out for Wednesday. 73, WA1YYQ in Greenwich, Connecticut.
Good evening, Dan. You made it over top of Ray. Dan's losing his stars.
7-3 from Albany.
7-3 from behind the occupied territory. Good night, Dan. Good night, Dan. Good night, Dan. Sleep well.
Give you one ROO.
Where's his signal? Good night, Dan. Dan, I moved my portfolio to cash almost.
That's a good thing. And hello from to Milford. I think you're in there. Good evening to you, too.
Hey, ROO, where'd your signal go?
It should be here.
20 old. I don't know. It's looking pretty low. Ray, where's your antenna? It's up.
It should be. I'm pumping out the wattage.
Randy's killing you tonight, Ray. Killing you, Ray. Oh, that's because of the he finally got that tuner working right. That's because, hold on a second, everybody. Pay attention very clearly. It's because I'm running an external balance on the output. That's it. Yeah, remember saying it? Oh, that's so funny. How many times have you said to people, Ray, you can't run a balance on the output? Well, I guess in your case, anything's better than that tuner you got. No kidding. And that's a really good point. That I forgot about that because, I mean, I think the theory tells you that's not really a good idea, but in practical use, it obviously is a solution that works. Well, wait a second. You can run a balance on the output as long as the SWR is less than, say, 3 to 1. Well, I'm telling you right now, mine is many, many, many times more than that. Well, it's not a good thing to do. I mean, like I told you, in conversation with the guy from Ballon Design, he said that absolute maximum, 4 to 1, and even 4 to 1's too high.
I want everyone to call tomorrow. Call Bob at Ballon Design and see you're from the world famous Toad Harbor Net. And you understand he makes the best balance, and you want to buy a balance.
He told him that because he's not taking phone orders. I'll buy one after you put yours in and it fixes your tuner. I have a picture of my, Randy, have you ever looked inside the BT? Because I have a good picture that came with the tuner and I cannot see the balance in it. I can see where it is when I have the lid off, but it's really buried down there. Yeah, I had to get the torch out to open up this tuner here of John's, and I found it's easy to get to with a torch. Now, the balun that's in your AT5K, is that a 1-core? No, 2-core. Okay, so you're changing a 2 for a 2. Okay, because if this one has a 1 in it, then there's no way you're going to be able to put a bigger one in it. I thought you were putting a 4-core, Randy. No, 2-core. Will you pay attention, Kevin? I just thought the 4-core 240 43 next was the best one for 1.8. I thought that's what that guy on YouTube did. Not everybody on YouTube is 100% right. Just because you watch them on YouTube doesn't mean they're right, Kevin. No, I just thought that you were going to make the same modification that he did with the 4-core. I consulted the experts. I mean, 4-core would just handle more. I mean, it's doing the same thing. All right, I got a technical question. Would there be any utility in having like a switch in the back of your tuner that could switch from like a one balun to a different balun? Like, say, one position would be a 1-to-1 balun, the other position would be like a 4-to-1. You could do that, yes. Only if you needed to. Right, but I'm thinking like for let's say you had one antenna and you want to use it for all bands, perhaps. Well, right, yeah, you could switch in another balance to say work the higher bands or something, because the balance I'm going to put in here is optimized for the lower bands. So if you wanted to work the higher bands, well then you'd have to switch in another balance for sure. or have an antenna switch and go to an external balance. Yeah, or buy a BT 1500 and use a 200-foot feed line. I don't see the balance in the BT 1500, Ray. Oh, it's in there because I've seen it, but it's buried under where the relays are. You see where the relays are? That's where the balance is. It's under the relays. So it looks like it would be just two screws. Pull the relays up and slide the balance out. It's two screws, huh? I think there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's probably 8 screws, and you'd have to disconnect a hell of a lot of wires. No, you're 100% wrong. I'm looking at it here clearly. You've got 2 screws running up from the bottom up, and you'd loosen those 2 screws, just pick up on a little bit and figure out how to get to the balance. There's probably a balance in the center of that thing. One screw and pull that screw out and slide the balance out. And you have to unsolder the balance first, don't you? I see the wires from the balance where they come out. I don't know where they go into the bottom of the board. I don't know about that. Yeah, well, neither do I. And next time I take it apart, I'll look. But I'm not even going to worry about it until you get yours and you give me some kind of a measurement on it, and then I'll worry about it. It looks like there's 4 wires here. No, there's actually 5. I can't tell where they go over to the capacitor. So yeah, you'd have some unsoldering to do. Well, I'm sure of that, but like I said, if yours works better, I mean, the thing with mine is I can disconnect the ground and it doesn't make any difference. So I probably don't have to worry about it. The one in there might be the right mix. Yeah, I think what you're using there works just fine. The way that Randy's is designed is to put a high impedance on that relay circuit to make that a balanced circuit on his tuner. Your tuner is completely designed a different way. I'll bet you dollars to donuts they have the same balance in both tuners. Except Randy's could be more an extra core because it's rated for higher power. So what kind is in yours? What mix? What was that? Does your schematic tell you what mix is in the core that's inside the BT 1500? No, but I'm sure it would be the same as Randy's. Randy's is a massive balance. I don't see how it would fit in that BT 1500. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's probably the same material and everything. It's probably just more cores. What is my signal range here right now? Hello, radio. Absolutely. 32 to 34. Okay, because you're like 35 over. I've noticed that our signals are the same now. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's about right. I think the both S meters in these radios we're running about the same. Are you only running 800 or are you running the full watt? Absolutely right. I don't know what Kevin just said, but I was starting to double with him. But you're like 35 over, something like that. Who are you asking? Are you talking to me, Kevin? No, I know you're only running 800. No, I fixed my amp. I'm running about, I don't know, 1050 to 1100. Hey, you came up a little bit. You're only 23 over. Hello, Dick. I've got to go down to the little hall, the little room down the hall. Be back in a minute. KB2ZVP. Good night, everybody. WZ2P. Sleep well. Did you do the amp? Oh, yeah, I did it today. Have a good one, Rich. Hey, goodbye, Rich. 7-3, Rich. Rich, I had you on my phone. Hey, when you want to run high power with the they usually triple the cores. It's how much they put the cores together. They put one on top of the other, and it makes it so you do high power. Yeah, we know that, Dick, but there's not room for that in the tuner I have. Okay, all right, I got you. And I'm not going to run more, I'll never run more than 1,500 watts, so I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, okay. I got to go upstairs, 7-3, guys. I had my radio on upper sideband, and I couldn't hear you guys on 30, so I finally found out the problem. Yeah, well, that would be an issue. Okay, see you later if you're leaving. N1TBL.
Yep, 7-3, Ray and Randy, K1 Adam, Henry Adam. Gotta go upstairs.
Hey, Dick, we can go to upper if you need us to.
What was that?
It's Bruce over here, your neighbor. I said we can go to upper side if you want us to.
Yeah, I was in upper 5, man. That's no good. And you guys were down at 27, you know? I said, that's not right. So I'm looking at it real close, and I said, oh, no wonder. It's on upper 5, man. We'll be on more. Oh, well. Hey, human error, right?
Yeah, no problem. Well, take care.
Hey, signal. Wherever you were, you were 40 over.
I'm over the border here in Little Compton.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Bruce, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah, nice signal there, Bruce.
Okay, good. You're coming in loud and clear here too. You know, we're about 20 wavelengths apart.
Yeah, I know. We're neighbors, so just about. Hey, 7-3, have a good night and a better night tomorrow.
You too. Take care.
Okay, I will. 7-3.
81 Mountain. So anyway, Bruce, did you hear what I took my amp apart today and changed one tube? No, you changed one? Well, what I did was I took the lid off, I fired it up and ran it up with the CW thing going on high plate voltage, and one tube gets red and the other one doesn't. You know, one tube was 3/4 red and the other tube was just starting to turn red. The right hand tube was the one not heating. So I pulled the right hand tube out and I switched it with the other spare tube I have in my 6-meter amp. But I cleaned the socket, and the socket was really dirty. I cleaned it with a Q-tip, and it came out black. So I put the new tube in, and then while it was in there, I oiled the motor and took the other tube out and Windexed both of them and cleaned the socket on that one, put it all back together, and the power went back up. You know, it went up about 125 watts or something. But I'm not sure whether it's the weak tube or I look in there now, and that tube reflects, you know, the filament reflects off the side of the amp, and it looks a lot brighter. So I'm kind of thinking it might have had low filament voltage. Yeah, maybe. Those are 3500s? Yes. Okay, well, that's good. I wonder if the socket was dirty.
What is Dan's call sign?
It's YYQ.
Yeah, I know. I get that. What's the prefix?
WA1 YYQ.
Okay, got it. Okay, that's good. Good address, thank you.
Sounds like everyone from Alpha. See you later. Good night.
Good night, Al. 73.
Yeah, good night. Hey, Ray, it sounds like these tubes could have like a pretty potentially nasty little problem with the socket losing a good connection. Because when you cleaned it and there was dirt, you know, oh boy, that sounds like a problem that I would imagine probably happens a lot. It's a silver; they get tarnished. Exactly. That could be a nasty little problem. That's why you do maintenance on your amplifier. Should take, if you have a tube amplifier like that, especially 3500s, you should take them out at least once a year and clean them and clean the sockets and put them all back together. Is there any kind of like lubricant or anything like that to protect it, or maybe not? You would have to be like a synthetic oil, and even that would smoke. I guess that would be a problem too. I just used D5W or whatever that stuff is, contact cleaner, and a Q-tip. And like I said, the socket where the tube was weak was dirty. The other socket was just a little dirty. That one was more dirty. So, like I said, I don't know if it's a tube or the socket, but I noticed over the last two months or so, the power went down 100 watts, a little over 100 watts, and changing the tube fixed it. Did you try tightening up the socket? The sockets are tight, so cleaning it helped.
Well, I don't know. I use the shotgun method. I clean the sockets both, and I change the one tube.
Oh, you changed the tube.
Yeah. So Ray doesn't really know if it was the bad connection in the socket or the tube. You changed two things.
It was the tube.
We got to get to the bottom of this.
Absolutely.
What's the base of those sockets made out of? Are they do they use plastic or are they porcelain?
Oh, come on. This isn't a real amplifier. They're porcelain.
Yeah. And then they're silver plated. Silver plating can get tarnished. Gold would probably be better.
Silver tarnish is just as conductive as silver.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's why silver is a great conductor for things.
I remember my old telephones, when you'd pull off you'd unscrew the little microphone cap on the handset, you'd look and they're silver-plated contacts.
That was the good old days when things were made right.
The tube pins aren't silver, though, right?
No.
That's where the oxidize and can probably give you a problem.
Yeah, well, I've cleaned those sockets before, and it's been a really long time since I've cleaned them. I'm guessing 5 years, so, they should have been done.
You didn't get that thing overhauled before you put it in line?
No. I overhauled it once when I rebuilt the power supply, so everything in it is done right. But today I did check the resistors, the bleed resistors, to make sure they were still working. I was wondering about those, but they were fine. Bruce, if you could ever find one of these amps, especially if you could find one that needs work, that you have to fix or, whatever, this would be a great amp for you because it's a super rugged, big, gigantic transformer in there. A really good amplifier.
Sigma.
Does Dennis have the Sigma that I had?
I think he traded it to Dave.
SAG?
No. The other Dave, the Dave from Munson.
I have no idea who that is. What's his call?
Steve, I don't have it written down. Anyway, yeah, you've talked to him a couple times. I think he emails you once in a while.
So that's out of play then.
Well, no, he went through it. He took it all apart. He's really good with stuff like that. He took it all apart and rebuilt it and fixed it all up, and that's his amp now.
Okay, so it's out of play. It's not available for the swap fees or anything.
Not unless you want to trade him maybe your radio for it. Who knows? Next time it comes up for swap, I'll let you know. I buy it myself. I think they're absolutely fabulous amps.
They're great beginner amps, and they're just top of the line if you're a beginner.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, you'd have a hell of a hard time buying an amp anywhere near this quality today. Matter of fact, it's impossible. The only way you get an amp this quality is to build it. And it would cost you more to build it than it would be to buy one of those brand new.
You've never had an AL82. I know the AL82, the capacitors aren't that great, but it weighs about 40 pounds more than that amplifier does. It's got a huge amplifier, way bigger than that.
What are you talking about? The AL82 doesn't weigh as much as the Sigma.
It does too. It's way more.
It is? Well, somebody take an AL82 and weigh it on a balance beam scale, and I guarantee you it doesn't weigh as much as the Sigma, because I've had all the other 3500Z amps. I never had an AL82, but I've had, other 3500Z amps, and my
make this real simple. My heaviest amp I've ever owned is the Sigma.
Well, you go weigh your Sigma, okay? Because I handed that thing to Randy with one hand, carried it under one arm, brought it to Randy, handed it to him with one arm. It weighs about 50 or 60 pounds. The Sigma, the AL82 weighs about 85 pounds, probably 25 or maybe 30 pounds heavier.
There's something radically wrong there. There's something radically wrong. You know, I know exactly what the Sigma weighs. It weighs 81 pounds. My SB220, which is the same amp, weighs 62 pounds.
But the SB220 weighs nothing. It's just a paperweight. But I can assure you well, I can tell you, I've had them both. You've never had the 82, but I've had them both. And the 82 is a lot heavier than the Sigma.
It isn't, Randy. It isn't. I'm telling you, some guy that's in here has got an AL82. Weigh it. If you can't get a chance, weigh it. I know it's not as heavy as the Sigma, because the transformer in the Sigma is the biggest transformer I've ever seen in any amplifier.
How much does your Sigma weigh again?
It weighs 81 pounds.
How big's the box? What's the size of the unit?
Well, what's the difference how big the box is? It weighs 81 pounds.
The AL82 according to DX Engineering weighs 76 pounds.
Yeah, is that shipping weight or just the amp?
Amplifier weight.
Well, there it is. The Sigma's heavier. I know the Sigma's heavier because it's the heaviest amp I've ever owned.
That might be shipping weight without the transformer.
Well, they say that they call it the amplifier weight, 76 pounds.
Well, I thought the Sigma was an awful lot lighter than my 82. I had them both, and like I said, I carried the Sigma with one arm. Seriously, just handed it to him with one hand. So here it is. It was not that heavy.
Where did you get your Sigma?
I got it from the guy in Rochester that I forgot his call sign.
Yeah, okay. Well, whatever. All I can tell you is I know amplifiers. I played with them for 40 years, 50 years. I've seen 50 different amplifiers, and this is the most rugged, best amplifier I've ever seen.
But how many 82s have you seen?
Don't even talk to me about an 82. They're a pile of crap. Just because you had one, you like it. There's nothing in that 82 that doesn't fail. This Sigma is a 1984 amplifier. 1984, and everything in it still works.
I just think it's a riot. You just know so much, and you've had nothing. You compare what you have as being the best, and what everybody else has is not good enough. But that 82 is exactly the same amplifier as the 1200 and the 1500, just a different RF deck.
Okay. Then explain something to me. I have an SB220 here that was built in the 80s. Okay, it's got a tag on the back. I don't remember the exact date, but it was built in the 80s, and the Sigma was from 1984. Both those amplifiers have the original filter caps in them, and unless somebody like Bob changed something in that amp, but the Sigma has basically all the original parts in it, except for when Randy blew up the diode. Now, how can you compare two amps that are 45 years old and have the original parts to an AL82 that the longest they ever last is what, 3 or 4 years, 5 years top?
No, there's many AL82s that are 20 years old out there, 10 years old out there. They've got a lot more voltage to the tube. I mean, it's just what's your voltage to your tube? I mean, what's the high voltage on that?
It's like 3,100 volts, but that's ridiculous. You don't even know what you're talking about. You're making yourself look ridiculous. So you're going to tell me because the AL82 puts out 2,000 watts instead of this amp here only puts out say 1,300
because they put so much voltage to them. But the rest of the amp is just fine. I mean, the relay is bad because you put too much power into the thing, or you're hot switching it or whatever. But there's a lot of AL82s out there, Ray, that have no difficulties at all.
I had an AL82 and nothing bad happened to that one.
What do you mean nothing bad happened to it? Didn't you blow that up?
No, I did not blow it up. Randy, did I blow that up?
You only blew it up a little bit, Mike.
That's right. It was easily repaired. I like how nice and easy that is to work on.
Yeah, and then what's his name? Steve. Steve has a single toe version of that, doesn't he? And that's broken at least twice.
So this AL82 goes for $3,500. It's still in production. Hey, Kevin, you still on there?
Yeah, I'm still laughing, Mike.
Well, by the way, your ATR 15 is has Ray. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that you can switch that back and forth between a 4-to-1 and a 1-to-1, right? And that's the current balance.
Yes, you can, but the balance in the one he had wasn't. I don't think it was.